Okay. So actually, let me go to the clear list first. So this is like the third recording of me trying to 100% the game. Just as like an opening comment, I want you to keep in mind that I came off of Ever 17, right? And the route finding in Ever 17 is relatively simple. It's relatively simple to find all of the endings that are in Ever 17. It's also relatively simple to find all the choices and make every choice you can make in Ever 17. As far as actually seeing every single possible line of text in Ever 17, it gets a little tricky because you have to go back and do all of Takeshi's endings again. And get this extra text. So I'm not going to say that's necessarily easy. So what that kind of means is finding all of the bad endings. If this was a similar difficulty to Ever 17 would be easy, but finding all of the, but this basically this clear list exposes a metric for measuring your progress that is a little bit more rigorous than some other metrics I've seen. It actually tells you the percentage of how much of the many of the lines of text you've seen in each scene. So you can actually check off whether you've actually seen every line of text. I haven't seen that before. And this higher standard that it puts me to makes it look like I'm worse, when I may not be necessarily playing this. This may not be necessarily as difficult as other games. It's just that I'm holding myself to a higher standard, and I'm measuring myself against a more rigorous metric. But when it comes to the endings, I am missing an awful lot of bad endings. And the endings, as I should see them, are in chronological order. So there's 3 bad endings between Satoru murdered in the bathroom and Incident in Sphia End that I haven't managed to figure out how to hit, right? So it's not necessarily easy to find all the endings either. So although this metric is a pretty strict metric, it's maybe kind of hard to meet 100% on every scene, it's hard to finding it kind of difficult to find all the bad endings. Especially these ones where if there's an A, you expect there to be a B. I haven't found the B yet. Now, because this is here, I would expect I should be able to use this to check off all of the lines of text, right? However, if we noticed last time that there's a scene called incompatibility or something. Discrepancies between genders. And this one had this potty joke in it that if I try to go back to, the bosom of motherhood, I think. Yeah, in the bosom of motherhood, and try to replicate all of my choices I did originally that got there. It didn't replicate that. You might think, okay, maybe it's something to do with I already finished the whole game, and so once you do that, it kind of like, it closes off that joke. Which, why would they do that? That's cruel. It'd make them missable. Like, it's like straight up missable. Like, there's no way to go back and get 100% if you did it in the first place. But I managed to reload my old save from my original time going through the game, and it did trigger again. But that would mean that either I messed up on my guessing of what choices I made in the first place, or that actually is dependent on choices I make in Heaven is Here and the Alpha and the Omega, which are choices I make as Kokoro talking to Uni on the airplane. Now, what do you think Kokoro talking to Uni on the airplane has to do with knowing how to pee as a guy, or being willing to pee in the body of a guy? Nothing, right? So if it's like, that indicates that the authors of this game are willing to add extra text to scenes that you get if you make certain choices earlier, where there's an extremely unintuitive, or maybe none at all, relationship between those choices and the text. So if I go to add the novel text that you get for making those choices, so I say, okay, scars taste like paranoia. There's 9% of the text I haven't seen. Well, to see that 9% of the text, I might have to make a choice in some earlier scene that seems completely unrelated to the events that are happening in that scene. In the scene that is Scars Taste Like Paranoia. Oof. Right? And even worse possibility is that the earlier Infinity games, I don't know if there is one in this game because I haven't looked at the underlying mechanics, had point mechanics where certain things would only happen if you had enough. It's like you made a certain amount out of the total of these choices the right way. If you know what I mean. Like out of these 5 choices, you get a point if you make this choice at the choice, and if you get 5, if I said 5 choices, if you get 4 points, then this happens. If you don't, it doesn't. So it's not making 4 choices a specific way. It's making 4 out of a certain amount of 5 choices a specific way. So there could be like a point mechanic with this. So this is very intimidating to me. Like these kind of not quite done scenes here, finishing them seems like something I might beat my head against the wall for a very long time and not be able to do. I'm going to try eventually, but it's going to be hard. Now, there's a certain hierarchy of importance to these things, right? What's it's most important is I get all the endings, right? Then, after that is seeing all the scenes, because then I get kind of the gist of all the possible things that could happen in the story. The last priority is actually getting all of the individual lines of text you could possibly get in those scenes. Right? That's like the lowest priority. So I'm not going to like go super hard on trying to check off like these 100% right now. I'm going to go harder on trying to get these scenes that are missing. And getting for the endings that I have missing. And then maybe these scenes, and then after that, scenes that I have but a very low completion amount. And then the least priority, and what I do if I'm done with everything else, is trying to get the scenes that I'm at 90% of to 100%. So I'm not going to focus too much on that right now. I'd rather in this Let's Play give up, be frustrated, than in this Let's Play at a state where I had all of the scenes, as opposed to a state where I was missing some scenes but couldn't get some of the scenes up to not 100% or something, right? So I want to get to the state where I got all the scenes first, at least. So with that in mind, with this particular recording, I know you're not going to see me go back and try to finish these, right? You're going to see me try to get through the big stuff, these big swaths of scenes that are missing up higher. I got to go do potty, and then I'll come back and say what I'm going to do next. This is completely unrelated, but just to vent my frustration. I'm such a lazy editor. All I do when I edit these things is I wait till I recorded all of them. And then I mix the audio almost the same way in every episode. There's some that are not. If you listen to Ever17, you'll notice there are some episodes with peculiar things about the audio. But most of them are like it's identical, right? How I do it in Audacity. And then after I export all the audio, I have a 3-line Python script that writes a batch script, so like a .bat file, that I then hit run, which then applies all the audio onto the videos. And if I have to concatenate a video afterwards because it's in 2 pieces by accident, it crimps my style and I get cranky because it's like not in the flow. So what I did just there was I intended to pause the encoding so that it would just all stay in one video file in the end, and I accidentally slipped with my mouse and hit stop recording instead of pause. So now I have this orphaned video out front that I have to splice on. And not only that, because it's so small in file size and duration, I might in the future not understand what it is and accidentally delete it. So I might want to do something to flag it as don't delete this right when I'm done with this, because if a video is really short, I'll just assume it was like a misstart and I'll like delete it. Anyway. So if this video starts with this, like if this is the start of a video and there's something before it, you'll know what happened. I accidentally deleted the start. So what that start that I may have deleted was about is I was talking about the priorities of the Let's Play, right? Anyway, and so based on whatever that start was, what I'm going to do here is try to go for that the big chunks of content I missed. And right now I'm in a situation where Well, I'm in this big new like possibility. And it's at the scene called the at the end of self-interests, where you can give your food to Yomogi to hold on to, as opposed to keeping it as Kokoro's. And I feel like I've tried to do this when I was doing it my first time. It didn't work. So maybe it's because it's like you have to assign Mayuzumi to the food in order for this possibility to open up. But when you do this, then you manage to keep the food away from Mayuzumi yourself, but you end up eating it. I guess you could say you end up eating it before Mayuzumi can get to it. But if you give it to Yomogi, Mayuzumi steals it from Yomogi and then tries to eat it all at once herself. And some of it slips through her fingers and ends up down in the snow. So she's less efficient than the baby was. The baby left crumbs, but I would assume that the crumbs the baby left were less volume or less calories than the hardtack biscuits that Mayuzumi drops in the snow. And so all the food's gone, by that means instead. But now it's Mayuzumi who's the bad guy as opposed to Kokoro. But because people already hate Mayuzumi anyway, she gets punished worse than Kokoro does. Because she tries to make... But, I mean, she's worse because she tries to make excuses and stuff, too. Kokoro's just like, yeah, I guess I must have ate it, but that was bad. Like, oh no. Right? I don't remember doing this. Anyway. So that creates, like, I see it's quite a bit different than than what I originally read. So we're going to dig back into this. Now, unfortunately, there's only 60 save slots in this game, and a game with a story tree this complex really should have more than 60 save slots. Whoever came up with this, 60 is a lot. No, 60 is not a lot. Like, it is like 600. So I'm going to have to overwrite some old saves. I decided the ones I'm going to overwrite are the ones where I did... sorry. The ones where I had the Satoru route originally. So, like, starting at prenatal. So I'll overwrite starting at 10. Starting at 10. Okay, and then the one I left off last time at was 41, but I want to go back to 60 because... Let's see here. No, it's not 60. Okay, place your this at the run here. Oh my goodness, I lost track. For you. New life. Yeah, this one will load this one here. And pick the opposite. I would pick tell them and see what's different. If you're looking for the cup, it's on the stove. Oh, you're right. Yomogi stood up and took the cup. Not in my wildest dreams could I have imagined that one action would leave such an opening. In that instant, there was no one protecting the food Yomogi had placed aside. And then this should go as normal, right? I mean, not go as normal, but go as way if you picked reach for the cup yourself. Yeah. Okay. So that's all I wanted to do with that. So then I left off at 41, right? Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna, because I've already done my initial run through where I got to the what might be the gold ending, maybe. I'm okay with save scumming now. So we're gonna do save scumming with this. To try to get everything in this scene, as opposed to just doing a through line. Maybe I'll do a through line. I'll do a through line with the scene, and then I'll go back and scum. It's the starting point. So I would think the right thing to do here is let Yomogi handle it. Yomogi folded his arms, motionlessly gazing at the hole that leads down to the storeroom. In the hell that is the shelter cabin has become, his calm attitude made him seem truly composed. Even though she had wasted all our rations, forcing us to the brink of death, I couldn't help but feel sorry for Mayuzumi as she received her punishment. Please let her out of there quickly, I wanted to say. But seeing the calm Yomogi, I swallowed those words. Though the punishment that he decided on for her could be considered cruel, surely Yomogi's usual deep thought had gone into it. I decided to wait without interfering. Much time has passed since then. How much time has passed since then? No matter how many long hours passed, Yomogi didn't show even the slightest sign of movement. He did nothing but gaze steadily at the hole leading to the storeroom. I hadn't heard Mayuzumi's voice for quite a while now. No, not just her voice. Not even a single sound or cough. Kokoro. Yuni pulled at my sleeve, looking worried. Frightened, I too hesitantly called out to Yomogi.
Yomogi-san.
Yomogi-san.
どうしたんだ?
What's wrong? Yomogi answered with a small smile. Feeling more or less relieved at the sight of his smiling face, I asked him.
Mayuzumi-san. もう許してあげたら.
Won't you forgive Mayuzumi-san? Still smiling, Yomogi shook his head.
何を言ってるんだよ。
What are you saying?
彼女は和を乱した。
She destroyed the harmony we had here.
そのためにパーティー全体を危険にさらしたんだ。
And in doing so, she put the whole party in jeopardy.
これぐらいの報いは受けてもらわないとね。
She's got to receive about this much retribution.
でも、もう何時間も経ってますし。
But it's been hours
そ
already.
れが
And? He leisurely asked again. What is he saying? Didn't Yomogi tell us many times about the dangers of the cold? He must understand if this goes on, Mayuzumi will be in danger. Then Yuni, who had peered into the hole, cried out.
大変! Lin, 倒れてるよ!
Oh no, Lin, she's collapsed. I too rushed over. I looked down into the storeroom. Mayuzumi had fallen senseless, reclining against the wall. Her face was colorless, drained of blood. She didn't so much as stir.
Mayuzumi-san!
Mayuzumi-san. I grabbed the unfastened ladder leaning against the wall.
おい
Hey. Yomogi grabbed that hand. Ow. Gripped so strongly it hurt, a scream slipped out of
何
me.
をするんだ
What are you doing?
何って決まってます
What am I doing? Isn't it obvious?
Mayuzumi-さんの様子を見に
Go check on
な
Mayuzumi.
ぜだ
Why?
ぐったりしてるからです
Because she's fainted dead away.
どうしちゃったんですかYomogi-san!
Have you heard of playing dead? What have you done, Yomogi-san? I shook off his hand and lowered the ladder into the basement. I flew down the ladder.
Mayuzumi-san!
Mayuzumi-san. I ran up to Mayuzumi, who was leaning unconscious against the wall.
Mayuzumi-san.
Mayuzumi-san. She was slumped there with her eyes open. She wasn't even blinking. Her eyelashes, no, it seemed that a faint layer of ice had formed over her eyeballs. Her face was disturbingly pale. I slowly reached out to her and tried to touch her face. Cold. I instinctively pulled away my hand from that freezing cold. Yuni timidly approached.
死んでるの
Is Lin dead?
そんなわけないじゃない
It can't be.
そんなわけない
It can't. I tried shaking her bodily. Her clothes were completely frozen. Because she was thrown in here with snow still on her clothes, she froze.
Mayuzumi-san! Mayuzumi-san!
Mayuzumi-san times 3. She's not reacting at all. When I stop shaking her, her body feebly collapses. No way. She's dead. His lips trembling, Yuni checked her pulse.
心臓が動いてないよ
Her heart isn't beating.
リンが死んじゃった
Lin is dead. At that moment, a voice came from above.
死んだのか
She's dead, huh? The nonchalant voice of Yomogi.
Mayuzumiは死んだのか
Lin's dead, huh?
よもぎさん
Yomogi-san. Yomogi shook the ladder. Is he going to pull it up? Is he going to trap us down here too? Or so I thought, but I was
早
wrong.
く上がってくるんだ
Hurry and get up
はし
here.
ごを押さえていてあげるから
I'll hold the ladder steady for you.
はい。
Yes. Yomogi, holding the ladder above the hole, patiently looked down at us. Even though someone had just died, Yomogi was smiling. That smile was radiated from his stubble-darkened face. Uni clutched at my hand. Without even looking at him, I can tell that he's trembling.
上、上がろう。
Let's go back up. Yeah. We climbed up the ladder that Yomogi held in place. So how many people have killed somebody in this game? Or tried to. Yeah, Utsumi tried to kill... Utsumi kills Keiko. It really is Keiko. In some bad endings. Yomogi kills Lin. Inamoto kills Satoru in Inamoto's old body. So he kills he kills his body in the future with Satoru in it. Keiko is about to kill a baby, and she has killed people in her past. Inamoto, tries to kill Satoru in his body, and while he's in Satoru's body. He doesn't succeed, though, in any timeline, I don't think. Utsumi also kills Satoru in Inamoto's body. So, I guess Kokoro, Satoru, and Uni. So only the protags and Uni don't kill. I mean, Mayuzumi kills too, right? She kills Kokoro in a bad ending. So it's basically the protagonists and Uni amongst a bunch of killers. And even the baby kills, doesn't he? Unless there's a gender swap, like the she baby gets in the he, and the male baby gets in the she.
さあ捕まるんだ
Come on, take my hand. Holding onto the hand Yomogi stretched out was very frightening.
下は底冷えがするだろ
It's freezing down here, right? Yomogi, his face serious, laid a blanket over me.
普通は地下の方が暖かいものなんだがこの小屋はなぜか地下が寒い
Normally it's warmer underground, but in this cabin it's colder down there for some
空
reason.
気取りの穴がどこかに開いているのかもしれないそこから風が入ってるんだろうな
There might be a hole for air intake down there somewhere. That's probably letting the wind in.
どうして
Why?
どうしてそんな危険な地下に眉住さんを
Why'd you put Mayuzumi-san down in such a
言っ
dangerous...
ただろう彼女は和を乱す存在なんだ
I already told you that, right? Her very existence is destroying our harmony.
だったんだ
Or at least, it was. Yomogi made a point of corrected himself. There's a typo. Yomogi made a point of corrected himself.
危険分子は隔離すべきなんだよ
Any dangerous element must be
眉
isolated.
住さんの服雪で濡れてました
Mayuzumi's clothes were drenched from the
そ
snow.
んな格好でいたらすぐに体が冷えちゃいます
Dressed like that, your body freezes immediately.
そうだな
That's right.
知ってたんですか
You knew?
知ってたがそれを教えたところで眉住は僕の言うことなど聞かないだろ
I knew. He laughed too. I knew, but even if I had told her, do you think Mayuzumi would have listened to what I said? Like he was telling me some hilarious joke, Yomogi grinned. That smile sent chills through me. This guy can find Mayuzumi in the basement with the intention of killing her? I gulped. Because of the tension, my throat dried up. My limbs stiffened. I mean, there's a knife, right? That, Kokoro accidentally cuts herself with. No, actually, the baby in Kokoro's body cuts herself with. So that's a Chekhov's gun of some sort. We call it a Chekhov's knife. So is there an ending where Yomogi stabs somebody? We'll try to find that. My limbs stiffen.
さあユニ冬川さん
Now then, Yuni Fuyukawa-san. When he heard his name, Yuni's eyes opened wide.
何？
What? Yomori pointed at the beds, putting his hand on Yuni's shoulder and
二
smiled.
人でくっついているんだ体温を奪われないようにな
Stay close to each other. I'll keep your temperatures from
生き
dropping.
残るためには僕の言うことを聞くんだ
In order to survive, listen to what I say.
言うことを
Listen
聞くんだ
to what I say. Yeah. Yuni pulled on my sleeve and headed for the bed. It was clear that Yuni was shaking, not from the cold, but in terror. We lay down on the bed together and wrapped ourselves in the blankets. Yuni whispered to me, his voice so soft it was almost
心
inaudible.
セ
Kokoro,
イジはどうしちゃったの？
what happened to Seiji?
怖いよ。とっても怖いよ。
I'm scared. I'm really scared. I was scared of him too. His smiling face, his steady eyes, his calm voice, his strong arms like tree trunks. I was scared of everything now. I held Yuni's hand
落ち着
tightly.
いて。
Calm
大丈
down.
夫だから。
It's
大
alright.
丈夫だから。
It's alright. It's alright to kill somebody. It's okay. I desperately endured the hours of tension that were squeezing my heart. Meanwhile, Yomogi toyed with his large knife. While gazing at the coldly shining blade, he continued
僕
muttering,
がしっかりしなければ
I have to keep it together.
誰も死なせない
I won't let anyone die anymore.
僕が殺させない
I won't let anyone be
後
killed.
悔するのは嫌だ
I don't want to have any regrets.
僕がついていれば安心だ
As long as I'm with you, you are
純
safe.
一僕必ず
Junichi, I'll definitely. His muttering continued incessantly. Those words filled the cabin like a curse, lingering in my ears.
もうやだ。
Enough. Put my hands on my ears. It felt like listening to a confession of love from a stalker. I don't want to hear. It's driving me crazy. Then Yuni pulled at my sleeve.
ねえ、ココロン、僕喉が渇いちゃった。
Hey, Kokoro, I'm thirsty.
ココロンのお水くれない？
Can I have some of your water? Yuni clasped his hands almost apologetically. His adorable gesture calmed my mind. I'm glad Yuni's here with me. I thought from the bottom of my heart. I passed him the PET bottle wrapped in the blankets with us.
あれ？あんまり入ってないね。
Ah, there isn't much left, is there? Since I'd hardly eaten, I had drunk quite a lot of water. There was no more than a single mouthful
飲ん
left.
じゃっていいよ。
You can have it.
でも、
But
まあいいや。自分の飲むよ。
it's fine, I'll drink
ちょっ
mine.
と氷が張っちゃってるけど、少しぐらいなら。
There's some ice in it, though, but just a little. Yuni took the PET bottle lying on his bed and pulled it toward him. There was a little ice inside. We could melt it by holding it between our bodies, but out of fear that it would steal away our body heat, we left it as it was. It was frozen fairly solid, and a thick sheet of ice like the surface of a skating rink overlaid the water. Yuni broke the ice across the bottle. Sound rang out, sending ice floating to the surface of the bottle like icebergs.
いただきます。
Here goes. A sweet smile rising on his face, Yuni drank the water in loud gulps. That was the last smile of Yuni's I ever saw.
おい
Hey. Thrusting the knife into the floor, Yomogi turned and advanced toward us with broad strides. Yuni let go of the bottle and frightened clung to me.
どうしたんですか？
What's wrong?
どうしたじゃない
What do you think is wrong? Yomogi grabbed Yuni by the nape of the neck. Yuni resisted by clinging to my chest, but was easily pulled away by Yomogi's unbelievable
やめ
strength.
てください。
Please stop. Deaf to my pleas, Yomogi lifted Yuni up in the air. Yuni's face distorted in anguish.
し、や
It hurts.
めて。
Stop it. Maybe we're at the ending where Yomogi stabs everyone again. I mean, not again. Like, already. I can't even talk right.
おい
Already.
ユニ、僕は言ったはずだ。
Hey, Uni, didn't I tell you?
氷水は飲むなって。
Don't drink ice
そ
water.
んなもの飲んだら体温が下がる。死んでしまうぞ。
If you do, it'll lower your body temperature. Don't you know that you'll die then?
どうして僕の言うことが聞けない。
Why won't you listen to me?
でも
But
口答えするのか。
you talking back? Yomogi put his hands around Uni's neck and starts to squeeze.
やめてヨモギさんやめて
Stop, Yomogi-san, stop!
私が言い聞かせるからちゃんと注意するから
I'll warn him. He will be careful.
やめて
So please stop. I flew at Yomogi. I grabbed onto his arms and tried to shake them. But he was unfazed. The grip of his hand strangling Uni, it grows stronger and stronger.
どうして僕の言うことを聞かないんだよ。
Why won't you listen to me?
君のために言ってあげたのに。
Even though I said it for your own sake.
やめてお願いだからやめて
Stop it! Please stop it!
ユニが死んじゃう
Uni is dying! The color of blood suddenly spread in Uni's eyes. From the corner of his mouth, saliva drips
和
out.
を乱す者は隔離しなくちゃな。
Those who try to destroy our harmony must be isolated.
残念だ。残念だよ。
Too bad, it's too bad. Uni's slender neck breaks. His struggling arms and legs fall limp. A stain spread on his pants.
いや
No, Uni is dead. He was killed by Yomogi. Yomogi threw Uni onto the bed, like throwing away an object. Then he turned to me with a smile. A very kind and fatherly
こ
smile.
れで和を乱す邪魔者はいなくなったよ。
With this, those who broke the harmony are gone.
もう安全だよ、純一。
It's alright now, Junichi. I have a feeling as to what I'm going to call this episode. But I never remember what I say I'm going to call the episode when I go back to edit. And I never write it down. So that it may not be actually called this. I'm not going to say though, just so I don't embarrass myself.
違う私は純一じゃない
No, I'm not Junichi.
ヨモギさんあなたおかしくなってる
Yomogi-san, you've gone crazy.
入院するのが怖いからって、そんなこと言うんじゃない。
You're just saying that because you're afraid to be hospitalized.
今日は父さんがついていてあげるからな。安心だよ。
But Daddy is here with you today, don't worry.
さあ、ベッドに戻るんだ。
Now, let's go back to bed. Yomogi seized my shoulders in a vice grip. He pushed me onto the bed. Then he covered me with the blankets. At my wit's end, I crouched down and held my knees. Yomogi looked at me in satisfaction and sat down by the wall. Once more, playing with a knife, he resumed
もう
muttering,
誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
もう誰も死なせない。
I'll just kill them all myself. I won't let anyone die anymore.
誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore. That murmuring that seemed capable of continuing forever filled the shelter cabin.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore. And the snowstorm cold as ice sliced the body of Mayuzumi. In the storm.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore. And the next bed, his neck cruelly broken, is the corpse of Uni.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore.
もう誰も死なせない。
I won't let anyone die anymore. Inside the cold shelter cabin, together with the man who killed 2 people. Together with the cold, I was wrapped in words that resounded like a curse. I'll be killed. If I stay here, I'll be killed too. Just like the other 2, I'll be killed by Yomogi. Abruptly, the muttering stopped. Slowly, Yomogi turned until he was looking this way. He...
寒いな。
It's cold, huh? Smiled.
寒くなってきた。
It's gotten colder. He stood up. Swaying like a ghost, he drew
冬
near.
川さん、二人で温め合お
Fuyukawa-san, let's warm each other
う。
up.
生き残るために僕の言うことを聞くんだ。
In order to survive, listen to what I say.
言うことを聞くんだ。
Listen to what I say.
言うことを聞くんだ。
Listen to what I say. Yomogi took one step closer, then another. I threw out the blankets and flew out of the bed. I rushed to the door of the shelter cabin. I threw myself against the door and it burst open. There was a blizzard outside. The driving snow pierced right through me as it struck
待
me.
て
Wait! Yomogi approaches. If he catches me, he'll kill me. I rushed out into the snowstorm. I ran for my life, almost falling in the rising snow.
待つんだ。
Wait! Yomogi chases after me. No.
来ないで
Stay away. Stay away. I advanced through the snow, crying. From the terror, tears overflow from my eyes. The drops flowing on my face freeze in a flash. The striking snow hurts. My arms and legs chill, but paying it no mind, I continue to advance in the snow. How far have I run? I fall over. A warmth like spring engulfs me. I slowly lose consciousness. Yes. Yeah, now imagine if you got through this game and you never experienced that ending. Right? Yeah, you gotta go back and experience these things. So let's go back to 41. Let's pick the other option here.
よもぎさん
Yomogi-san. Yomogi had been squatting down beside the entrance to the storeroom the whole time, trying not to move. By doing so, he was keeping an eye on Mayuzumi.
よもぎさん
Yomogi-san. When I called out to him again, he raised his
ど
head.
うした？
What is it?
まゆずみさんを出してあげませんか
Yeah, won't you let Mayuzumi-san out?
確かに彼女のしたことは許せないけど
Well, we can't let her off the hook after what she's
でも
done.
こんな状況で罰なんていくらなんでも
It's true that punishment in this kind of situation, whatever the circumstances may be. Yomogi turned toward me as if trying to sound me out. Was he trying to read my thoughts? He stroked the whiskers that ringed his mouth.
それでいいのか？
Are you okay with that? Eh?
君はそれで納得しているのか？
Does it mean you'll let what she did pass? He asked as if to test
納
me.
得はしてませんけど
I won't, but
私たちは運命共同体で仲間なんです一人でも欠けたらダメだと思うんです
we're in the same boat and we're companions. Anything that hurts one of us is bad for us
だ
all.
からこんなこともうやめましょう
So let's end this here. Even if we don't want to, we have to forgive her. The very act of distancing ourselves from each other spells the end for us all. Yomogi glanced toward Uni. He asked him with his eyes.
僕トビリンはあんまり好きじゃない。
I don't like Tobelin much. Uni pouted in dissatisfaction. For a child, I guess hunger is harder to bear than anything else, and he can't tolerate it. The swiftly approaching specter of death and our present hunger. For Uni, it's likely the latter that seems like the bigger problem. So Mayuzumi's theft of our rations became all the more unforgivable to him.
でもココロンが言うなら
But if Kokoron says so... Yomogi breathed a small sigh.
わかったよ。
Understood. Yomogi stood up, put the ladder back in place, and called down into the basement storeroom.
Mayuzumi、上がってきていいぞ。
Mayuzumi, you can come up now. There was no answer from Mayuzumi. I was a bit startled. No way, did she lose all her strength in the extreme cold? Come to think of it, I haven't been hearing her cursing for a while now. My heart started to beat fast. I simply didn't have to look down into the storeroom. As if praying, I waited. Still looking sullen, Mayuzumi's face appeared. Moving sluggishly, she climbed the ladder, shivering and clutching at herself. I handed her a blanket. She snatched it and quickly wrapped herself up in it. Everyone was silent. Unease hung in the air. I have to say something, I thought, but I couldn't think of the right words to say. Thankfully, Omega came to my aid.
Mayuzumi、みんなに言うことがあるよな。
I assume you have something to say to all of us.
とりあえず、それで水に流してやるから。
For now, we'll forgive you with that.
ほら、言えって。
Come on, say it. Mayuzumi rudely turned her face away. Honestly, that just now has me pissed off all over again. Why won't Mayuzumi just obediently apologize? Even though he went to all the trouble of compromising with
ごめ
her.
んなさい。
Sorry.
え、
Eh?
まゆずみさん、今なんて
Mayuzumi-san, just now, what did you... Mayuzumi reverted to her usual ill humor in the blink of an
知
eye.
らない。
Don't know. As usual, she's difficult. Still, with this distance between us had lessened. That's how I felt.
トビリン、お腹すいた。
Tobaline, I'm hungry.
トビリンって言うな。
Don't call me Tobaline.
リンの持ってる乾パン分けてよ。
And you still have biscuits, so share them with
お
me.
断りよ。
I refuse.
トビリンのバカ。
Stupid Tobaline.
バカで結構。
I don't care what you think. I don't care that you think I'm baka. After saying this with an unruffled expression, Mayuzumi returned to her home base on the top bunk bed. Looks like the distance hasn't lessened after all.
ねえねえ、ココロン、お腹すいたよ。
Hey Kokoron, I'm hungry. Though Yuni pleaded, there was nothing I could do for him. Right, this doesn't change the reality of things. In this freezing cold cabin, how many more days must we hold out without anything to eat? The anxiety of being unable to tell how things will turn out overcame me. I heaved a deep sigh and sat down on the bed. I covered myself with the blankets. The battle against the unrelenting cold began once more. Frightens and is frightened. Okay. The shivering from the cold suddenly disappeared. No, the cold wasn't all that disappeared. Sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, all 5 of my senses have disappeared. What? I tried to speak, but I had no voice. I found myself in a darkness so total, it was as if even further blackness had been unfolded into the dark of night. I had no sense of up or down. I didn't know whether I was facing upward or downward, or even if I was awake or asleep. Nothing was touching me, as if I were floating in zero gravity. Let's see, what is the order that Kokoro goes through? No, she goes directly to Satoru, right? Yeah, so this is not like in the belly of Utsumi. This is like as Satoru. I couldn't feel the clothes I was wearing. I couldn't move my limbs. I didn't even know where my arms and legs were. It wasn't hot, nor was it cold. I couldn't feel air around me at all. I wasn't breathing. I couldn't feel my heart beating. Huh? What is this? 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 What in the world is going on? What is happening to my body? What is happening to me? What happened? Is there anyone here? Anyone? 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 Please, someone answer me. Answer me. Tell me. Answer me. And the darkness in front of me suddenly vanished, and as a field of vision was enveloped in light. A floating feeling. What an incredible sensation. Oh, she's like in the... This is the, hallucinogenic stuff. Even though I shouldn't be able to feel anything, I can sense my body floating. 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 It feels so pleasant. Such a safe, relaxing sensation. It's the first time I felt this way. Whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. Let's just leave everything as it is now. And just then... I can't skip this too, which is interesting. I caught a glimpse of it for only a moment. I was... No. To be more exact, the body that I entered. Satoru's body. Satoru's body was crouched on the corner of the kitchen, his head touching the floor. His body didn't move an inch. Satoru's dead? And so am I. I see. Then I remembered. At Sphia, from now on, don't eat any of the food. Oh yeah. Anyhow, if you take a single bite of anything, consider your life over. The message Satoru left for me 2 days ago. Consider your life over. In other words, there's a possibility that it was poisoned. Satoru since said and told me about it afterwards. However, I forgot about this. Okay, this happens if you say eat the food, but I don't think there wasn't anything in the food though. Unless Utsumi actually did poison the food. However, I forgot about... We don't have any evidence of that. However, I forgot about his message and carelessly ate it in Miyosphere afterwards. What have I done? Satoru died from the poison, and it's my fault. In other words, as if I killed him. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Satoru. This all happened because I wasn't being careful. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I have to apologize to you later. I'm coming to apologize to you now, so please forgive me. Without shedding a tear or letting out a single sob, I cried, and cried, and cried, and before long, I got the ending screen. My world faded away. Yeah! Okay, let's look at the clearing list here. So, I got Annihilation End Yomogi, and Poison Food End. Cool. Let's look at the scenes here. Okay, at the end of self-interest, I got to 100%. Yay. You can completely avoid that scene if you want to. Okay, so I'm gonna do, try to figure out if I can find a load before the food.
そうね。
I did pineapple, right? I did clone. Okay, I did Hotori's room, I think. I did stop Yomogi. This. Man, it's really deep back in there. I loaded the wrong save, probably. Did that. Get that extra bit. Again, this is the scene where you like have blood on Uzumi's hands, and then you go down to check the breaker and stuff. There's apparently something extra I haven't read in it. Oh, get bandaged first. Okay. And then you go to the breaker. Yeah. And I think I did like look for a footstool or something. I don't think that one matters. Okay, I did this one. I went back too far. This also has like something I haven't gotten in it. This one might have something to do with the whole confronting who you think is Kaiko about. Like, I know everything about you. That might actually change the outcome in this scene. Explain to Mayuzumi. Run after him. Oh, I go back so far. Stay silent. Okay, I did the bad one, right? Hey, Uzumi. And then don't confront her. Don't review it. Say what I truly felt. Lend Yomogi a hand. I guess I chose that one, but that's not the right choice, but whatever. Okay, I hit make the fire hotter, I think. Yes, I know. I should have picked a save file that was like more recent. Instead of less lost track of the saves. Oh, I did wait here. And then, okay, I didn't eat. That's the change. Okay. So Utsumi really did poison the food. And then we just go all in Mayuzumi. Mayuzumi. I think at the end I picked that one.
食べ物が欲しかったら言うこと聞けって。
Oh, if she wanted food, she should have listened. Had Mayuzumi started to get a big head over being entrusted with the management of our food supply. When I think about it, I get that feeling that I was naive and thinking a selfish girl like her would be responsible enough
ご
to
め
do
ん
it.
ね。
Sorry.
小屋に戻ろう。
Let's go back to the cabin.
うん。
Yeah. I followed the trail of footprints you left as I headed back towards the cabin. That's interesting. When I saw him return, the shelter cabin took my breath away. A dreadful scene had unfolded there. Yomogi-san lay there where he had fallen on the floor covered in blood. There were countless deep gashes in his back.
よもぎさん。
Yomogi-san.
あら、戻ってきたの？
Oh, you've come
二
back.
人でどこかへ行ったと思ったのに。
I wonder where you two had gone. She slowly made her way toward me. From somewhere I heard a metallic clanking sound that grated on my nerves. She was dragging along an axe. An axe wet with
よ
blood.
もぎさんに何をしたんですか？
What did you do to Yomogi-san?
こいつ、食べ物を分けろなんて言うから、
That guy, he kept talking about how we should divide up the food.
殺したの。
So I killed him.
そんな。どうしてですか？
But why? Trying to hold back the fear rising in me, I continued.
前住さん、食べ物を管理するって。
Mayuzumi-san.
みんなに分配するって言ったじゃないですか。
Mayuzumi-san, didn't we say that we were going to divide the food up equally among everyone?
そうね。
You're right.
だけど、気づいたのよ。
But I realized something.
寒い中にいるのは、カロリーを消費するの。
In a cold place like this, you use up a lot of
たっ
calories.
たあれだけの食べ物。4人で分けたら、生きていけないわ。
With only this little food, we will divide. If we divide it amongst 4 people, none of us will survive.
そもそも、私のものになった食料を、どうして分けなくちゃいけないの？
And in the first place, why should I have to share the provisions I took for myself with everyone? Mayuzumi took out a bar of chocolate and began munching away at it. She smiled at the flavor of it.
おいしい。
Yummy.
これは私のものだわ。
This belongs to me.
分けるなんて、絶対嫌。
There's no way I'll let it be divided up.
私はね、生きていたいの。
See, I want to live.
私を待ってる人がいるの。
There are people waiting for me. With chocolate stains all around her mouth, Mayuzumi slowly came closer, dragging the axe with her. You... Taking a step back, I thrust an accusing finger at Mayuzumi. You've lost it. A thin smile rose to her face, and Mayuzumi's eyes were furious. She raised the axe over her head.
私は正気よ。
I'm perfectly sane. I immediately dodged. But just as I did...
何があったの、ココロン。
Hey, what happened, Kokoron? Uni, who had fallen behind me, entered the cabin. Don't come in here! Ah. Mayuzumi turned to Uni and swung the axe down. I embraced him to protect him. In my back, there was a burning sensation as though metal prongs had pierced it. Continuous aching, intense pain. Vertigo, the urge to
あん
vomit.
たが死ねば、私が助かる。
If you die, it'll help me
ご
out.
めんね。
Sorry.
ごめんね。
Sorry.
ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。 ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。ごめんね。
I'm thinking the voice actor probably did not voice act that. She only voice acted one gominne, and then they just repeated it.
だから
As I listened to Yuni's voice, I sank into a deep darkness. Kokoro! I had only one wish. If only Yuni could be saved. I don't know what I did wrong there. I don't know what I did differently, but I somehow hit a bad ending. I didn't think I was. Okay. Okay. Alarm. Self-interest. Okay, let's try here. No, alarm. Try loading alarm. Yeah, okay. No. I can do better than this. Okay. This resides. Desire to change. Her illness. Do you believe in fate? Is this late enough? I forget. I'm tired. Don't review it. Say what I truly felt. Then the Yomogi a hand. Just try to do an exact replication here. Fire hotter. I still need to update my save to load a save this later. Okay. Then I say I didn't eat. Okay, then we do Mayuzumi. Are you there yet? Okay. Now I hurry back to the cabin this time. There we go. Okay. So this is how I can do the same thing with I didn't eat. leave the food to Yomogi, so we can get the whole thing where Mayuzumi steals it. I have to go through White World now? Great. You get through White World, I go walk away from the building first, but then after a while I stop, and then I return, then I go to the left side. And I was working off to try to take the knife away. I said, look out the window for some reason. Because I was just the opposite thing. I was just working off of opposites. Go get it. Okay, then we get to this, the scene, the end of self-interest, which can be skipped. If you just avoid this whole thing by not giving Mayuzumi the food. Let Mayuzumi out of the basement. Now, the food should not be poisoned this time. So we should get poisoned food here. We should not get poisoned food, we should get something else. Yeah, okay. Okay. The cold wrapped around me. This was no mere cold. This was so painful that my entire body jarred. Humans begin to feel pain if they are exposed to the elements for too long. Too used to the heating at Sphia, my unprepared body shuddered as if suddenly pulled back into reality. Well, that much was to be expected, because I was standing in front of the cabin. I had been dropped right into the middle of a violent snowstorm. At this rate, I'll freeze to death. Was Santoru trying to kill me? No, he was just he was checking on the shore, right? Panicking, I opened the door and ran into the cabin. The situation here didn't seem to have changed. I quietly stared at my hand, which prickled with pain. My fingertips were numb and had turned stark white, having lost the coloring that blood would provide. I tried blowing on them. That had hardly any effect at all. My entire body felt heavy. I didn't have the energy to talk either. At this rate, I probably won't even make it through the rest of the day. I covered my entire body with a blanket. However, even the blanket had already become cold. It had gotten so cold that my lungs hurt when I breathed in. It's hard to believe this is indoors. Everyone was sitting apart from each other, wrapped up in blankets. Everyone was shivering so hard it seemed their teeth might fall out. Not a single word was spoken. With hollow eyes, they shivered as if going into convulsions. Without a doubt, we were approaching our limits. I felt like the god of death, known as cold, was sucking up all of our life. No, it may not have been just the cold. Mayuzumi's actions had thrown a dark shadow over us all. Thanks to her, our food supply was nearly gone. Moreover, what she had done had thrown into sharp relief the face that we weren't really united. Gathering our rations together was supposed to unify us, but all it really did was trigger Mayuzumi's rampage. Just like the snow beating against the window, we continued to play out this dissonance. I wanted to help to hurry up and come. I thought that from the bottom of my heart, but we'd already taken refuge in this shelter cabin for 5 days. There had been no sign that a search party was coming around. In this snowstorm, help probably wouldn't come today either. There's no guarantee that it'll clear up by tomorrow, and there's no grounds to believe that help will come tomorrow, even if it did. All my thoughts were turning negative. Maybe the entire world has forgotten about us. Maybe no one had even noticed that the plane had crashed. Even though that shouldn't be, I inadvertently think it, and my chest is gripped with anxiety. Feeling overcome with uneasiness, I... Okay. This is where I do some overwritings here. So I got a 10, I believe. Let's say... Call Uni over. I couldn't stand sitting alone.
ねえユニ
Hey, Uni. I called over to Uni, who was sitting apart from me.
一緒に座らない
Want to sit together? He gave me a small nod and came over to my bed. I opened up space on my bed for Uni. I opened up my blanket as though to invite him in. Uni and I piled our two blankets up together as we both cover ourselves with them. And then... Uni whispered while blushing.
お腹空いちゃった
Hey, I'm kind of hungry. Having not eaten anything at all, I was famished
そ
too.
うだね
That's right. My speech is slurred.
私もだよ
Me
お
too.
水飲む
Do you want some water? I took the PET bottle out from my own blanket. The water was extremely cold, but it's barely managed not to freeze.
僕の水凍っちゃったんだ
My water's all
ちょ
frozen.
っともらっていい
Can I have a little of yours? Okay. That said, there was only about a mouthful of water left in my bottle. You took the bottle with a shaking
こ
hand.
れしかないよ
There's only this much?
全部あげる
I'll give it all to you.
いいの
Is it okay? I nodded. A weak smile floated across Uni's face.
リカと
Thank you. It's probably really thirsty because the air was so dry. He drank the water with loud gulps. People say that you can live for 1 week on water alone. However, now even our water had been lost. There is plenty of snow outside. However, if we put that in our mouths, it'll snatch away our body heat and lead right to death. It's like a person who's unable to drink seawater and dies of thirst while floating on a raft drifting at sea. Uni laughed, but only with his mouth. His eyes weren't laughing at all. Tears were filling his eyes.
おいしいありがとう
It's delicious, thank you.
でもごめんね
But I'm
気
sorry.
にしなくてもいいよ
You don't have to worry about it.
僕の水頑張って溶かすね
I'll try my best to melt my
そ
water.
したら心に返すから
Then I'll give it back to
無
Kokoron.
理しちゃダメよ凍ったペットボトルなんて抱いてたら寒くて死んじゃうから
Don't push yourself. If you hug a frozen PET bottle to make it warm, you'll die of the cold.
気をつける
I'll be careful.
気をつけるけど頑張るよ
I'll be careful, but I'll do my best.
心のためならちょっとぐらい寒くても我慢するもん
If it's for Kokoron, then I can endure a little cold.
ユニ
Uni. I loved that sweetness of Uni so much, but it was almost unbearable. I slowly reached for Uni's glasses.
あダメ
Don't,
あれはダメ
don't do that.
なんでよ
Why?
僕の身にもなってよあれってすっごく苦しいんだから
Think about my body too. That's extremely painful.
私のためなら我慢できるんでしょ
You can endure it if it's for me, right?
それとこれとは別だよ
This and that are
う
different.
ん
Jeez. Without any other alternative, I settled for grasping Uni's small hand instead. Huh? There was something gripped in his cold hand. It was a charm. I wonder where it came from.
いいでしょ
Nice, huh?
僕を守ってくれるんだよ
It's protecting me. Perhaps trying to cheer me up, Uni forced a smile. However, his smile seemed cramped by the cold.
それじゃあ二人で神様にお願いしよう
I think this is the repeated dialogue.
ねえどうかユニはあのねココロンとずっと一緒にいれますようにユニーハグギブ
Won't let me skip, but
もう
this
電話はダメだろ
wait a second, is the numlock problem? Nope. Okay, I'm gonna do load. Hold my knees. Holding my knees, I closed my eyes. I was going to be okay. I was going to be okay. I desperately tried to persuade myself that. However, my anxiety wouldn't go away. On the contrary, I recalled another troublesome problem I was having. The events at Svea. The circumstances were still vague, but I found the corpse of a mysterious man there. The killer was, even now, still lurking in Svea. Did Satoru resolve that messed up situation? Who attacked Satoru? Who can I believe in? Who was the man that died? What was this transfer phenomenon I've been experiencing in the first place? I start pondering all this with my mind slowly slowed by cold and lack of sleep. Maybe the personality transfer is a dream. I curve my dried and cracked lips. I've asked myself that unproductive question over and over again. If that really was the case, how relieved I would be. However, the transfer phenomenon is reality. Little me can't support all these mysteries that were piling on top of each other. And to add on to that, a life-threatening crisis was drawing near. I felt as though I was about to be crushed.
心
Raising my head, Uni had come up in front of me before I noticed. His muttering sound shivered in the cold. Voice shivered in the
隣
cold.
に行ってもいい
Can I sit next to you? I nodded and opened up space on my bed for Uni. I opened my blanket to invite Uni in. He doesn't let me skip. And then
そうだね
okay. Let's go roll with that just because, like, it rhymes up to the same place. Okay, I transferred again. I checked the time. 10:20 p.m. A delicious smell was coming from beyond the door. Lured by the smell, I left the room. On the table right in front of my eyes was a warm meal. The shining white rice was letting off steam and looked delicious. Right next to it was a bowl of eggplant miso soup, grilled salmon, a vegetable side dish of spinach. There was a large platter full of diced chicken and vegetables. I became unbearably sad. There was food here. There was just enough food to satisfy the hunger of 3 people. I wanted to bring Yomogi and everyone else here as well. If I could, we wouldn't have to quarrel about over food anymore. Won't let me skip though, but this is all repeated. I've already read this.
どうしたの？突然泣き出したりして。ご飯呼びに行かなかったのがそんなに悔しかったの？
いえそうじゃありません私ちょっと考え事してて
あら、その口調。冬川さん？
はい
そうだったらごめんなさいね。呼びに行く前に先に食べてしまって。
Okay, don't eat the food, but it's gonna make me eat the food anyway.
お腹空いてるのね。
すみません
And she's wrong. Yep. Well, Utsumi is a murderer, but not the murderer she's thinking of. Well, maybe Utsumi did try to kill. No. Anyway, she doesn't know of the bad ending where you get stabbed in the bathroom. So as far as she knows, like the murder, as far as she knows, that the cases that she knows cannot be assigned to Utsumi. We know that there are some things that can be assigned to Utsumi that Kokoro doesn't know about. Right, so the food, okay, I kind of an idiot. The food wasn't poisoned. It's that he ate something with, I forgot what the substance is in it, and if you take that combination of drugs, if you've eaten, then it poisons you. That's the difference. So that's why you just can't eat anything then.
勢いよく食べたかと思ったら今度は急に箸が止まってどうかしたの？
いえ。
そう、最近みんなろくなもの食べてなかった。それに冬川さんはこの3日間何も食べてなかったんだから。食べられるだけでいいから。
ありがとう、ほとり。何？なんでもないの。ねえ、ユニ、お醤油取って。ユニ、どうして。
はい、これ。
すみません。どうしたの、ほとり。ほっぺがどうかした？おっぺんとつけてどっこ行くのってやつだね。もう新婚さんみたいじゃん。照れすぎだよ、ほとり。ごちそうさま。
Okay, I'm gonna load the other choice, which doesn't matter, just so that I get both all the completionist stuff checked off. You can just go directly to eating it. Yeah, that seemed exactly the same as when I first played through this. It wouldn't let me skip it for some reason, which is strange. Oh no! Wait! Whoa! Wait a minute. Okay. Load. I didn't. It might be like a false alarm. It's just I wasn't sure that was a fast forward stop the first time. That stopped at the mother and child scene, or whether or not it just stopped there because it was different when I said don't eat the food, not when I said eat the food. Probably a false alarm. That doesn't make any sense if it were not a false alarm. Okay, I didn't want to die. But this is like, it skipped over the... Even so, I chose to turn back to the shelter cabin. So, basically, you don't have a choice here. You had a choice in the when you eat the food instead of Mayuzumi. But here you don't have a choice. Yomogi and Mayuzumi had lost their ability to reason. Even so, I chose... Okay, I didn't want to die. Okay. I couldn't stop them anymore with my strength alone. That said, it would be suicidal to follow them. I kept standing still and saw Yomogi and the rest of us... Or the rest off as their backs receded from view. Their fingers disappeared into the darkness, and I was left alone in a dark world. Even though I said I returned to the cabin, I didn't even know the place I was standing in right now. Where was the cabin? In the end, I decided to walk in the direction opposite where Yomogi and the rest had disappeared to. Rather than getting better, my hazy consciousness grew steadily worse. Not even conscious of where I was or what I was doing, it felt like I was about to forget both entirely. I was terribly sleepy. It was quite paradoxical being sleepy even though it was so cold. I'll die if I go to sleep. It was a pattern you often see in dramas. But I went to sleep. Thoughts of the sweet temptation of sleep run through my head. How happy I would be if I could sleep right here. If it meant I could sleep, I wouldn't care even if I died. Things like that crossed my mind. And then all of a sudden I was pulled back to reality. Huh? Why was I walking in a place like this? I slowly took in my surroundings. My entire field of vision was pitch black. I couldn't even see my own hands when I brought them in front of my face. Where is this? I could hear myself breathing loudly. A place where not a single source of light exists, darkness in its principal form. It was the first time I'd been thrown in a world of this dark. Thinking of darkness that spreads out into the unknown, I shivered. That was the feeling of fear carved into my human instincts. That forced me to realize it. Without light, humans wouldn't be able to live. It felt like I was the only one that existed in this world. That feeling of isolation increased my anxiety terribly. Hey! Unable to contain myself, I shout. However, my voice was easily erased by the snowstorm. It diffused into the darkness. Anybody? I shouted at the top of my lungs. Even though I knew there shouldn't be any way to reply, a reply would come. I couldn't help but shout. Where'd you go, Satoru? I noticed when I said that. No, Satoru shouldn't be here. Who was I again? I was barely able to recall Yomogi, Uni, and Mayuzumi. It's strange. There's no way I could forget. What was happening to me? Yomogi-san. My speech was slurred. Yomogi-san. Yomogi-san. I repeated Yomogi's name over and over again. And feeling miserable and not being able to speak clearly, tears began to fall. The snow mingled with the wind, violently blew the drops off my face, and the trails they left on my cheeks froze immediately. I rubbed my eyes, as I thought there was no one there. No one answered me. I was alone. Disaster. The world flooded into my mind and I fell into a panic. My own thinking was too naive. The word reckless wasn't strong enough to describe moving alone in the snowstorm. I could hear my own breathing quickly becoming ragged. I looked at my surroundings over and over again. Somehow I had to meet up with Yomogi and the rest. Even if their actions were suicidal, it was better than being here alone. Where? Where are you? There was nothing. There was no one. There was only me in this world. I don't want to be alone. I can't stand this solitude. Hopelessness shoots through my chest. My vitality was withering away. I crouched down and held my head in my hands. I was completely helpless before the powerful menace of nature. The image of a dark death eroded my consciousness. I'll die. I don't want to die. It'd be better if I died. I want to live. It hurts. Help me. Anybody stand. Don't stand. Inside my head, my will to live and my jumbled fears of death were yelling back and forth at each other. Even so, I was unbearably sleepy. It'd be okay if I slept, I thought, and with just that, I became extremely calm. If I wasn't going to be saved anyway, it might be better to just die peacefully. My reason screamed out, Don't give up. Stand up. You're still alive. I shouted. By shouting, I was able to raise my own spirit. I frantically stood up. I don't want to die, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. That was the only thought in my head. What should I do? Okay. I'm gonna try stay still first, because that's gonna, I believed, rather than moving around aimlessly, I had a better chance of survival if I stayed in one spot. Yomogi said that he was going to leave me behind. He probably wasn't going to come and save me. Still, it was dangerous to move around alone. I'll stay here and wait until the snowstorm settles. Strong winds are making my body shake unsteadily. It was taking all I had just to stand, but still I stood there as if opposing the wind. I suddenly raised my head. I heard it. I definitely heard it. It was the voice of Yomogi calling for me. It can't be. Did he really come to save me? Why? It didn't matter what the reason was. No, I'll be saved. Right here. Watashi wa something like. Anyway, I'm over here. I placed the last of my hopes in my shouts. I concentrate on staring into the jet black darkness. Are you okay? Before I knew it, Yomogi appeared in front of my eyes. He had been this close to me. Tears began to well again from relief and happiness. Thank goodness. Okay, so because of the circumstances, and because, I'm gonna I'm just gonna pause the encoding. I'm just gonna be like, pause, and I'll come back, and you won't notice anything besides a break in the blizzard animation. Okay, I'm back. I accidentally toggled the game to the next line, which was, I hadn't been abandoned yet. So, that's the backlog. Okay. I wasn't alone yet. Can you walk? Do your best. If we can reach the crash site, we'll definitely be able to manage somehow. I saw a helicopter. I'm sure I saw it with my own eyes. A helicopter. Was that why they continued to march so recklessly? But there's no way a helicopter could come in this snowstorm. There's no way it could fly. It's obvious that what Yomogi saw was just a hallucination. But what if there really was one? Well, there was, it's just... she just doesn't understand. If it were true, then this was the chance we've been wishing for. If we had made contact with the helicopter, everyone would be saved. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? After considering it over and over again, I nodded. Let's go. If there is hope there, if there is a means to survive there, we have to get there no matter what. I wonder how far we've walked. Felt like we had been wandering inside the snowstorm for hours. But in reality, only about 10 minutes had probably passed. It's because it's become impossible to tell time. No matter how long we walk, we may never reach our goal. Thinking of that bred anxiety in me. Yomogi, who had been loudly cheering us on until halfway, had already fallen silent. Mayuzumi and Uni too continued to push forward in silence. Uni, who was walking in front of me, had been staggering for a while now. Their backs hunched over and their heads hanging low, they walked unsteadily like zombies you'd seen in a movie. Their appearance told me that it wouldn't be odd for them to fall over at any moment. However, I wasn't in any position to be worrying about Uni in the first place. In my hazy thoughts, only the words spoken by Yomogi, "If we can reach the crash site, we'll be able to manage somehow," repeated in my mind over and over again. Will I reach the crash site first, or will I fall dead of exhaustion first? My strength was already exhausted. What remained was willpower alone. When that willpower runs out, I'll die. I continued to mutter, walk, walk to myself with each step I took. Suddenly, Uni fell face down in the snow right in front of me. For a moment, I couldn't understand what had happened. I absentmindedly stared at his small fallen body. Now it lets me skip, okay. Now, okay, so we're gonna get here. Let me try. I'm gonna save this, of course. Save it. Fitful. Yes. Now I'm going to load. This one. And do. At any rate, I need to move. I have to keep moving. I had heard moving aimlessly inside a snowstorm was nothing short of suicide. But even so, I needed to keep moving. Nothing will happen if I just wait. I turned back around once more. In any case, I should return to the point where I separated from Yomogi and the others. The probability of me meeting up with them again is astronomically low, though. But I had to believe. If I don't believe, only death awaits. I continued walking against the raging snowstorm. My strength was being snatched away. I couldn't see anything. I didn't even know where I was walking anymore. You could say my steps were advancing through inertia alone. My foot got stuck in the deep snow and I fell down into it face first. Get up. Get up, Fuyukawa Kokoro. However, even when I tried to put my strength into my body, it was as if it wouldn't do what I told it to. Drowsiness overcame me. It would be so much easier if I slept. The sweet voice of temptation whispered into my ear. That's right, no matter how much I walk, I wouldn't be saved anyway. No one will save me. Yomogi and Mayuzumi and Uni too, none of them will come to save me. I didn't want to suffer anymore. I closed my eyes. All the sounds of the world outside were shut out. Inside of all that, I heard only the sound of my own breathing. It was an extremely gentle feeling. And finally, the figures of people close to me began to appear inside the darkness. My dad, mom, grandpa, grandma. All my friends were from university, and even my high school friends were there. They were all smiling and calling me over. Light emanated from the place where they stood. It looked like a really warm place. I reached out my hand to them, and then I was enveloped by light. There was light coming from the sky. A shower of light was raining down from the sky. Like fireflies, small, illusory lights. Ah, how beautiful this world is, and how warm. I fell asleep. Engulfed in a shower of gentle light, surrounded by blessings, I fell asleep. Yes. Okay. But, we're gonna say do leave Uni.
わかりました。
I understand.
置いていきましょう。
I'll leave him behind. Mayuzumi was grinning.
そうよ。最初からそうやって素直になればいいのよ。
That's right, you should have just been honest like that from the beginning.
人間なんて所詮自分だけが可愛い生き物なんだから。
Because in the end, humans are just living beings that only value themselves. No, I'm not like that. I screamed inside my mind. The decision to leave Uni behind was so I could go investigate the crash site. It was so I could see whether a helicopter had really arrived there. Even if the helicopter wasn't there, I was still planning on returning to where Uni was afterward. That's why Uni, just wait for me for just a bit. I stood up, forcibly shutting out the feeling of regret over leaving him.
そう
Damn it.
置いていくしかないのか
There's no other choice but to leave him. As he said that in an irritated voice, I realized that Yomogi had dropped to one knee. Wheezing, he breathed painfully, his shoulders rising up and down.
よもぎさん、大丈夫ですか？
Yomogi-san, are you okay? Yomogi raised slightly his hand and answered.
少し疲れたもう年だな
I'm a little tired. I'm already old, huh? Even though he was still able to joke around, he didn't appear to be alright. He had also weakened considerably.
もう大丈夫だ
I'm fine now. Interrupting me, Yomogi stood up. And then he looked down at Uni with a pained expression.
ヘリと合流できれば ユニを助けに戻ることもできる。
If we can meet up with the helicopter, we can return to save
行こう。
Uni.
僕たちに今できるのはヘリを見つけることだ。
Let's go. All we can do now is look for the helicopter. Okay. We had to walk, my mind filling itself with regrets. Uni, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. After getting stuck in a number of times, we finally reached the crash site. The wreckage of the airplane was just lying there, the same as when I came there 2 days ago. The many carbonized corpses, now buried beneath the snow, were nowhere to be seen.
ヘリはどこ？
The helicopter! Where's the helicopter? Mayuzumi looked frantically up at the sky. However, there was nothing there to see. The snow blew through with severe force, tearing through the darkness of the night. Even if we strained our ears, we could only hear the roar of the wind.
ねえ、どこ行ったの？ヘリは？救助隊は？
Hey, where'd it go? Where's the helicopter? Where's the rescue team?
どこかにいるはずなんだ。
It has to be somewhere around
ちゃん
here.
と探すんだ。
Keep looking. I collapsed where I stood. Even if I looked, I wouldn't find it anyway. There was nothing here. Our last chance just disappeared as well. I guess there had been a ray of hope left somewhere in my own heart as well. The moment I understood that there was no helicopter, the feeling of nervous tension disappeared. My energy began to fade.
くっそ
Damn it. Mayuzumi dropped to her knees and beat her fists against the snow over and over
ー。な
again.
んでよ。なんでいないのよ。
Why isn't it here?
諦めるな。絶対にいる。いないはずがない。
Don't give up, it's here, it has to be. I absentmindedly stared at Yomogi and Mayuzumi. Yomogi looked at the sky in a frenzy. Mayuzumi was cursing, looking desperate. I thought their appearances were comical. For it to turn out so miserable even after abandoning Uni and coming all this way. Feelings of guilt flooded my heart. If I'm going to feel this bad, it would be better if I just died. I guess I'll die. I don't have any strength to stand back up anyway. I intended to return to where Uni was, but it's impossible now. I'm sorry, Uni. I'm such a cruel person. I lie there, the wind beating against me. Lying down felt so comfortable. It didn't really feel cold anymore. I was getting really sleepy. I should have just done this from the start. Believing that dying is scary, that was just an illusion. It feels so tranquil right now. Death was really a haven. Death was my sole relief. Look, in death, I'm receiving blessings from all over the world. A shower of light was raining down from the sky. Like fireflies, small, illusory lights. It doesn't let me skip this, even though it's repeated. Yay, died a different way. Yeah, save my death. Okay. See what these deaths are called. Okay, we got Annihilation End Mayuzumi 1. But we still have these two bad endings in between here that we somehow didn't get. So we got... Okay. Incidents, stabbed to death in the bathroom End A. Still a missing ending, which is interesting. Annihilation End, Poison Food End, Death before reaching the crash site End. Annihilation End Mayuzumi 3, Died without returning End. Roaming around the crash site End. Okay, got two more bad ends we can do here. Mayuzumi 3, we don't have Annihilation in Mayuzumi. Okay, so this one is Annihilation in Mayuzumi 2. That's somehow possible. It's before Annihilation in Yomogi. I think I can actually get... I might be able to get Annihilation in Mayuzumi 2. I'm going to try some stuff here. have like an idea. Okay. I just don't eat. Nope. Safe. I loaded too late. Okay. Try this.
Mayuzumi さんの意見に
Okay. So do hurry back to the cabin, otherwise you get you get annihilated if you don't hurry back to the cabin. But then once they're all like Mayuzumi biased, do I'll safeguard it. This might lead to something. Okay, I have to do White World again. Okay, it's going to be a bit of a jolt there. I just found out on my search for some other Mayuzumi Annihilation that there's some... I should need to drop a save with this condition, so... Yeah... Okay. Let's do this one to get more text checked off. The more I think about choking back the tears, the harder it is to suppress them. I couldn't stand it anymore. Even though it wouldn't be right to cry with little Uni in front of me. Uni. His kindness pierced my chest. It felt like a light had begun to twinkle from the depths of my heart, which had become dark from despair.
ココロン、どうしたの？
Pokeron, what's
ど
wrong?
うして泣いてるの？僕、嫌なこと言った？
Why are you crying? Did I say something bad? I shook my head and softly embraced
Uni
Uni.
優しいね。
Uni, you're so kind. That kindness gave me courage and hope. Glowing within this small child was a glittering purity that had saved me. I was embarrassed at myself for becoming weak-hearted. Uni grasped my hand. It was small, but it was certainly reassuring. Inside his hand, he was gripping a charm.
これ、お守
Okay, this is a protective charm. Uni looks slightly embarrassed.
り？いいでしょ。
Nice, huh? It was tiny, tiny charm. Normally I didn't believe in... Okay, so we'll keep doing this. This is repeated.
ね。
There we go. It skipped to a bad ending I already got or something. What? Did I get the poisoned end ending because I didn't... Oh my goodness. To do this all over again. Great. This is silly. Don't have a safe file in the right spot. It keeps me... and... do all this stuff again. Wait, did I have a save it? Do you believe in fate? Oh my goodness. I'm incompetent. Okay, I'm gonna put a save of this. There we go. Try to cure that going back too far problem. Okay, gotta hurry back. That's required. Okay, so avoid a Mayuzumi Annihilation 1 by doing that. Say, I'll safeguard it. I have to go through White World. We're in a small respite. So if I say, I don't want to load it. Okay, I'm gonna risk doing the overwrite. I'm gonna overwrite a small respite. I shouldn't die this time. Because I didn't... Yeah, I didn't get poisoned. Or ate food that would make the hallucinogenic drugs into poison. Okay, and then we do saves on this thing. Try the opposite one. This was the 3 of ours combined. This is 3 of ours combined.
これは私とユニとヨモギさん3人分の食料です。
This food is mine, Yuni's, and Yomogi-san's. It's all 3 of ours combined.
どうだか
I wonder about that.
私だけ仲間外れにして3人でこっそりどこかに
You
隠し持ってるんじゃないの
sure you weren't just hiding it between the 3 of you and leaving me out?
そんなこと。
That's not...
もうよせよMayuzumi。
Stop it, Mayuzumi.
人を疑うのはもうよせ。
Stop doubting other people. Mayuzumi grew sulky and withdrew back to the far side of the bed. She may not have had the energy left to quarrel with us. Mayuzumi's weakening at a remarkable rate. I grew a little worried.
マユズミさん、
Hey,
どうし
Mayuzumi-san,
てそんなに反発するの？
why do you always reject us?
協力し合いましょうよ。
Let's all cooperate together.
私は死にたくないし、誰にも死んでほしくないの。
I don't want to die. I don't want anyone else to die either. No response came from the top bunk. I sighed and looked over at Yomogi. He only gave a small shake of his head, as if giving up.
食料でしたね。
Oh,
今
food, right?
出します。
Save it. Apoptosis.
あなたね。
So, it was you?
あ
Huh?
あなたなんでしょ？
It was you, wasn't it? I couldn't think of anyone else that would do this besides Mayuzumi. I couldn't forgive her. Mayuzumi's self-centered attitude had crossed the line. If the rest of us don't survive, it'll be her fault. Mayuzumi's facial expression changed into one of anger.
何よその目は
What are those eyes for?
あなた最低だわ。
You are the worst. I couldn't endure it any longer. The complaints that I've been holding back suddenly burst out all at once.
なんで自分のことしか考えられないの？
Why can't you think of anyone but
自
yourself?
分が助かるためなら他人を平気で足蹴にするなんて。
You think that it's all right, just right to kick down others just to save yourself.
人として最低よ。
As a human, you are the worst.
なんだと
What did you say? Leaning forward, Mayuzumi slapped me. I shook it off and returned to a slap of my own. The sound of it echoed through the cabin.
あんま
You bitch! Mayuzumi's hand grabbed onto my hair. The pain brought tears to my eyes. Even then, I didn't falter. I wildly swung my arms and hit
お
Mayuzumi.
いやめろやめないか
Hey, stop it already. Yomogi stepped between us and forcibly pushed Mayuzumi and I apart. I continued glaring at Mayuzumi while breathing
なんと
wildly.
も思わないの？
Don't you think anything of it?
人が苦しんでいる姿を見てなんとも思わないの？
Watching people as they suffer, don't you think anything of it?
あんたこそ
You?
あんたこそ自分の罪を他人になすりつけてるんじゃねえよ
You're not pushing the blame for your own sin onto someone else, aren't you? Huh? What did Mayuzumi just say? Blaming someone else for my own sin? Mayuzumi glared at me with eyes of contempt.
よくも白々しく偽善者面できるわね
How dare you act all innocent? You're quite the hypocrite.
とんでもない女だわ
What an unbelievable woman.
何を言ってるの？
What are you
あ
saying?
んたよ
It's you.
あんたが犯人に決まってるでしょうが
It's obvious that you were the culprit. I'm the culprit?
そんなはず。
That can't be.
あんたしかできないことよ。
Only you could have done it.
食料が手元にあるあんたしか人目を盗んで食べることなんてできないんだよ。
The only person that could eat it unseen is you, the person who was holding onto it, right?
私は食べてない。
I didn't eat it.
信じて。
Believe me. But Yomogi and Uni did protect me. Okay, I drop a save here. On symbolic. And that's going to be it for this recording. I'm going to be done for the day at that. So, that's about the 2-hour mark. Which a lot of it was wasted on unnecessary fast forwarding. Just look at the kind of how far I've gotten on the clear list. So... So, 16 out of the 33 endings. I've only half of them. 146 out of the 154 scenes. So still 8 more scenes I haven't even touched yet. 76 out of the 110 tips has to do with lines that have tips in them. 111 out of 116 background musics. Not background musics, CGs. But they're all in Satoru's side. All the musics, 88% of the individual lines of text, 70% of the choices you can make, 72% of those. Okay, I've been playing it for a really long time, yes. So, these 2 are still missing, but I got Satoru murdered in the bathroom in A, and then some missing stuff. Annihilation End Mayuzumi 1, Incident Suya End, Stabbed to Death in the bathroom in A, presumably stabbed to death in the bathroom in B, Annihilation End Yomogi, Poison Food End, I got like 3 times actually, Death Before Reaching the Crash Site End, Annihilation End Mayuzumi 3, I also thought this could be Annihilation End Mayuzumi 2, that's not what the other thing this could be, Died Without Returning End, Roaming Around the Crash Site End, Location X Avalanche End, Satoru Chapter, okay, so... And I got Satoru Chapter Good End Epilogue, and then a bunch of skipped bad endings. Utsumi on a Rampage, Satoru Stabbed End, and then Yukito's Plans Failure End a couple times. And then, whoops. On the scenes, I still have only 91% on Scars Taste Like Paranoia, only 90% on Shadow of Falsehood, 96% on the beginning of Ego Collapse. That's a complicated one, though. So I can imagine why. Something missing here between DID breakout and a small respite. Two things missing between at the end of self-interests and frightens and is frightened. Still only 94% of self-defense false accusation, which is interesting. I still have a lot to go and I hope that visits in the end, of course. I understand why it's 89%. They got a lot of incompleteness here. Something missing in between a little bit of happiness and man-made miracle. Something missing an angel descending from darkness. So like 1 line missing from knocking at the door of hope. Lot missing from the Promised Land. And something missing here. Got all of Within the Cage, though. This is interesting. The 72 is really interesting. Going to Satoru. We'll get to Satoru eventually. You have a missing scene in Satoru here. Someone's missing ones in there. Yeah, but we got 100% on all the end ones. Okay, I'll stop here. For good.